Hello, friends. I'm so glad to see you today. Are you out there? I'm looking for you. Welcome to Penguin Place. We are doing stories today about penguins. And if you got to hear Miss Kay's story time for preschoolers, we're going a little farther with the nonfiction. That means the information, the facts about penguins. I love my little penguin outfit, and I love my little penguin friend. He is actually a little bit bigger than a baby penguin. A baby penguin, when it hatches from its egg, is only about 6 inches tall, and the egg is about this size, like a snowball size. So you're going to hear more about him today, and you might be interested to know. You will learn what some words mean. What does regurgitate mean? What does toboggan mean? And I don't mean the one you wear on your head. What do you do when you toboggan or shuffle? And what is a predator? So be ready for those vocabulary words in our time today, as well as at the end, our own Miss Hannah Gibbons is going to show you the step-by-step way that you can draw a penguin. So get ready. Here we go. This book is in the nonfiction part of our library, and we're not going to read all of it today. I found some really interesting facts in this book. What's a penguin doing in a place like this? What do you think? Well, where penguins live and do not live. The stereotypical or common thing that we think about with penguins is they're always in snow and ice. But this map shows our penguins are going to live south of the equator in a lot of different and surprising places. Penguins are found only south of the equator. That's right, there are no penguins at the North Pole. Also, many penguins nest on small islands. Why do you think that is? Well, penguins are in the bird family because they have feathers, but they are not able to fly. So they live on islands. It's a way better way to defend themselves. And there are some exceptions of non-flying birds that are really, really fast, like ostriches of Africa or the rhea of South America. They're very fast runners. Penguins are not fast on the land. They're very quick in the water. Penguins can live on a tropical island. Did you know they can live in the tropics where it's very, very warm? The Galapagos Islands, can you say that with me? Galapagos Islands is one of those islands. It is over 100 degrees there just about every day. The Galapagos penguins spend a lot of time in the water. Penguins can also live in Peru. That's in South America. South of the Galapagos Islands are smaller islands off the coast of Peru. This is where the Humboldt penguins live. You're going to like this part, especially some of my friends. This is kind of gross, so get ready to hear some gross, okay? They live on an island that is covered with guano. Do you know what guano is? It's bird poop. Bird poop. Ooh. Well, bird poop is 100 feet deep on this island, and they make burrows. They dig down into that bird poop and make a burrow. They go down in there and nest there and have their babies there. Oh my goodness, I learned that from this book. Can you believe it? Bird poop, penguin poop, 100 feet deep on this island. And what's it called again? It's called guano. Wow, that is so wild to me. Penguins live in South Africa. Look at these guys. They're climbing up from the ocean. These are called black-footed penguins. And get ready for it. When they were first discovered, they make such a strange noise that they are sometimes called African jackass penguins. Uh-oh, better be careful when you call somebody that. African jackass penguins. Oh my gosh. I learned that from this book too. Oh my gracious. These guys are called black-footed penguins. They are beautiful. Look at their coloring and their beautiful eyes, but they don't like the snow in the ice. Their population is only between 120,000 and 150,000, and they are called the warm weather penguins. They almost always have bare, unfeathered areas on their face. It makes it easier for them to cool off. I read something else. Some penguins want to put their feet up. Did you know that? It helps them cool off. They put their feet up to cool themselves off. Now, these guys are called rock hopper penguins. They look like rock stars, don't they? But the reason they're called rock hopper penguins is because they hop from rock to rock. This little rock hopper penguin, look at his rock and roll hairdo. I love him. I think he's amazing. Now, a Gentoo penguin has a different coloring. He almost looks like he has a headband on his head. His white feathers on top of his head and a white splotch over his eyes with a red beak and pale pink feet. They almost look like chicken feet. Can you see that? You might have to come get this book for yourself. You could check it out. This one is called Macaroni Penguin. Do you think he likes spaghetti or macaroni and cheese? I just don't know. But he is called the Macaroni Penguin. Look at all the macaroni penguins. All those little specks on that mountain. They seem to be one of the largest population of penguins, and they live on an island, you'll never believe it, called South Georgia. wait a minute, we live in Georgia, but that's not where these guys are, because remember, they are south of the equator. And the South Georgia Islands have large colonies of the king penguins. They have the bright orange earmuffs. The king penguins stand straight and tall. They have a very dignified looking posture, which is why they're called king penguins. Their colony is not very dignified, however. They live in smelly mud. Ugh, that's so disgusting. It's very noisy there as well. The king penguins do not build a nest. The mother lays her egg on her feet. Oh my goodness, Mom. The mother and father take turns caring for the egg, holding it under their warm belly feathers. Each time they pass the egg to one another, they make a ceremony of it. It's like a little dance. Do you think your mom and dad did that? Making a dance, passing you back and forth from one to the other. They trumpet greetings to each other. It takes about 8 weeks for the eggs to hatch, and it gets this brown fuzz on it. So there's that baby king penguin. He doesn't look very much like the adults, does he? What do you think? And that's about all I'm going to share with you from this book. It's got a lot of very good photographs of the different kinds of penguins, but it lets you know a little bit of what we have here at the library. And there are some others here as well. This one, the emperor penguin, it's one I think you would really enjoy. There's one called those perky penguins. There's the one that looks a little like a rock star. So I hope you'll come and find some of these books, as well as the stories that we have about penguins and other animals in winter. Now, I told you I was going to tell you about a couple words, and you will hear a little more about those vocabulary words in this book. And it is called The Emperor's Egg by Martin Jenkins. There are 17 kinds of penguins, but the emperor is the only one that breeds in Antarctica in midwinter. The adults arrive at their breeding areas, often more than 100 miles from the ocean, in late autumn. A few weeks later, the female lays one egg and returns to the sea. She leaves the male, that's the dad penguin, to keep the egg warm until it hatches a couple of months later. At first, the male and female take turns caring for the chick, but soon it is big enough to be left while both parents go fishing for its food in the sea. By the time it is 4 months old, the young penguin's coat of down has been replaced by adult feathers. It now sets off for the sea, where it has to start taking care of itself. At 4 months old, most of you didn't have teeth at 4 months old. At the very bottom of the world, that huge island that is almost completely covered in snow is called Antarctica. It's the windiest, coldest place on Earth. The weather's bad enough there in the summertime, but in winter, it's really terrible. It's hard to imagine anything living there. But wait, what can it be? Yes. What do you think it is? It's a penguin. It's not just any old penguin either. It's a male emperor penguin, the biggest penguin in the world. And he's doing a very important job taking care of his egg. Male emperor penguins are about 4 feet tall. The females are a little smaller. He didn't lay it himself, of course. His mate did that a couple weeks ago, but very soon after she laid her egg, she went off. She waddled to the sea and went swimming so she could eat. That's where female emperor penguins spend most of the winter, swimming around, getting as fat as they can, eating as much as they can. I just might be a penguin in the winter time, I think. I like to eat in the winter. Generally, they have a really nice time, as far as we can tell from observation. Emperor penguins eat mainly fish, squid, and tiny shrimp-like animals called krill. Leaves Father Penguin standing there on the ice. He's stuck with the egg. The most important thing about egg setting is keeping your egg from getting cold. Inside the egg, that penguin chick is starting to grow. If the egg gets cold, the chick will die. So you can see where the egg is on Dad's feet as he holds his chick up off the ice. It means that Dad has to keep the egg off the ice and out of the wind. What better way to do that? Rest it on your feet right up under your tummy, which is just what Father Penguin does. That is how he is going to stay for 2 whole months. That's like all of January and all of February. He stays there until the egg is ready to hatch. Can you imagine that? Standing around in the freezing cold wind with an egg on your feet for 2 whole months. The female emperor penguin lays her egg in May or June, which is the beginning of winter in Antarctica. But look at all those dads standing around on the ice, holding their egg on their feet. What's more, there's nothing for Father Penguin to eat on land. That means for 2 whole months, he has no dinner, no breakfast, no lunch, no snacks. I don't know about you, but I would be very, very, very miserable. Responsibility is a very important thing. Luckily, the penguins don't seem to mind too much. They have thick feathers and lots of fat under their skin to help keep them warm. And when it gets really, really cold and windy, they snuggle up together. They shuffle into a great big huddle. So they shuffle. Think about putting on your socks or your slippers and then just kind of shuffling over the floor. Most of the time, the huddle of penguins trundles along very, very slowly. But sometimes, when the penguins get to a very slippery slope, they go and toboggan down on their tummies. They push themselves along with their flippers. They always remember to take care of that egg. I don't know how that happens when they're on their belly, but they do. There they go. They take care of the egg. They try hard not to bump into each other, even though the males keep the egg tucked up under their tummy when they slide. Sometimes that egg can roll out and break. And that's how the father penguin spends the winter until one day he hears a chip, 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 chip. His egg is starting to hatch. It takes a day or so, but finally the egg cracks right open and out pops a penguin chick. Now the father penguin has two jobs. He has to keep the chick warm and he has to feed it. But what is he going to feed that chick? I learned this from a book too. The chick is too small to go off and get food from the sea. He can't be left there by himself on the ice. Deep down in that father penguin's throat, there is the pouch. He makes something kind of like milk for that baby penguin. And he regurgitates, which is like throwing up. He regurgitates that milk up out of the little pouch and gives it to the baby. The father penguin can only make enough of that milky stuff to feed his chick for a couple of weeks. And just as he's about to run out of milk, guess who comes closer and closer? Who do you think that is? It's Mom. She starts trumpeting hello. Father penguin starts trumpeting hello, and the chick whistles. This racket goes on for hours, and it really does sound as if they are extremely pleased to see each other. Every adult penguin has its own special call. Every baby chick has its own special whistle, just like our fingerprints. So your thumbprint is different from mine. All of our fingerprints are different, just like you're different, just like each chick is different. As soon as things have calmed down, Mother Penguin gets sick. She does that regurgitation thing right into the chick's mouth. Yuck! But that baby chick says, yum, and gobbles it all down. It's the mother's turn to take care of the chick now, while the father sets off to the sea for a well-earned meal of his own. And that is the end of our story called The Emperor's Egg. What did you think of that? Did you learn what regurgitate means? Hopefully you did. Remember, they had to regurgitate the milk or the food that mom eats so that baby chick can't eat. And tobogganing on your belly, you're moving along on your belly and shuffling. And, oh, we didn't talk about predator. That baby has to be protected by its father so that no predator or other animal will come and get it, right? So I hope you learned some cool things about penguins today, and I hope you have a piece of paper and a pencil or some crayons so that you will be ready to follow along with Miss Hannah and be able to draw your own penguin. And come and pick up your craft bag this week, and you'll have the step-by-step instructions for how to do that.
Hey everybody.
Thank you, Miss Hannah, for being here today.
Of course. Today we are going to draw an emperor penguin like in the story we just read. And we're going to do it one line at a time. So let's start with the head. Let's see if I can get a pen that works.
Uh-oh, I'm sorry, I thought I pulled that.
There we go. And now the face. So you need a beak. You need a little eye. And I'm going to give him a pupil. And then the body. So they have kind of a long, little bit chubby body. Because they got to stay warm all winter like we just read. And a little tail. And now the legs. His tail coming in right there. And their little feet. And connect it up. Put that leg in the back, just like that. And so you need 2 flippers. One in the front. And one in the back. About the same length. There we go. And then to make it an emperor penguin, we're just going to put in the colors that go right there. If you want to, you can add colors. I'll put this one. Give him his little orange parts up in there. You can check out any of our books and see all the different types of penguins. So maybe you want to make one of the funny macaroni penguins. Give him all his funny hair, or a rock hopper penguin. And there you go.
There he is. She's so good. And I'm just going to say a quick goodbye, everybody. And I hope you'll come and see us soon and get your papers so that you can learn more about penguins, as well as the step-by-step drawings that Ms. Hannah just gave you. So come and get some more books if you are fascinated by some of the cool things that we read about today. And I hope to see you next time. Bye, friends.